So I am an attorney, and my clients have been businesses and property owners, and so I understand business contractual law, which would be very important, I think, as a council person, all the contracts that you will need to deal with in that job. I have owned my own firm with a partner, and so I understand balancing budgets and living within your means as a business, which I think is also very important for a city council to keep in mind, something we need to work on. I understand that having too much debt is not a good thing as a city. And again, I've done business litigation, so I understand those concerns as a business person as well. So I bring that to the table, as well as my experiences on the Planning Commission, the Investment Advisory Board here in the city, and a lot of my volunteer work as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Lyn.
Thank you. Well, can you repeat the question one more time, Jerry?
Sure, let me help you with this.
Thanks, I know it's just too short for me. Thank you.
All right, question, repeat. If you had a choice of making a decision that affected the entire community, like banning certain consumer items, if you had a choice of making a decision that affected the entire community, like banning certain consumer items, would you feel comfortable making the decision for the total population or working towards the vote of the people, and why?
That's an easy one for me. I think that our constitutional principles are extremely important, and I think that when we're talking about things like a plastic bag ban or a styrofoam ban or different issues like that, these are things that are affecting our individual liberties, which are, again, very important in the Constitution, and I don't think that a city council majority of 4 people should be making a decision like that. It's instead something that should be put to a vote of the people. We need to be really careful when we are intruding on how people should live their everyday lives. Really, the role of government instead should be less intrusive. It should be public infrastructure, taking care of that, providing public safety, certain other vital services. So I'm very supportive of the right of the people to vote. That is what our forefathers wanted us to have. The power is in the people, not in the government. And so I, in this type of business, think we should have the vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Lyn.
Said already, of course, I'm not comfortable with that kind of a liability, and I don't think anyone here would be comfortable with that. No business would be having that kind of a debt. And I don't think the employees are comfortable with it either. They want to make sure that on a going forward basis, the city can meet its obligations so that the monies will be there for their pensions on a going forward basis. So what is the answer? It's partly generating more revenue to meet the needs of the city and whatever those liabilities are. As others have said, it's really beefing up our economic development and making this a more business-friendly city. We hear about this all the time, that businesses don't want to come to Huntington Beach because we make it difficult. So we need to change those policies, make it easier, bring in more revenue, and that will help some. It won't help enough. I'm a collaborator. I like working with people. I've done a lot of that in my life with diverse groups, bringing them together. I'd like to sit down at the negotiating table and work on this with the employees. So it's a multi-pronged approach of how we're going to deal with this. It's not going to be easy, and I'm someone that's I'm comfortable making tough decisions, and I'm willing to do that. So, thank you.
All right, well, how are they doing? Are they doing okay?
I think one of the problems with what we're seeing right now is that we don't have the public transportation in place, and we're seeing, great increases in traffic. I mean, so many people that I speak to around the city are very upset about the traffic that we're experiencing. So if we're going to have development like this, then we need to make sure the infrastructure is in place first. We do need developers in our city to invest in large projects like this. We need the income from it. But what I would really like to see more of is building that brings in jobs, more commercial development where we are bringing in more white-collar jobs, for instance, all different levels of income so that these people that are coming will be purchasing our goods and our services. So I think that it's good to have new development. It's good to have some type of growth, certainly, but we need to have things in place first that need to be there. And that doesn't seem to be happening in this instance. We need to work with the developers, and right now our general plan is being updated, and so all of you have an opportunity to be a part of that process. And what is the vision that you want for our city? Is it the type of development we're seeing now, or something possibly different? Get involved. So, thank you. So my husband and I, who's here tonight, my husband of 26 years, Rich, we came back here in 1996 with our girls to raise them in this amazing city, and I wanted to stay that way. I have a lot of goals that I'd like to work on. The main one I've mentioned already tonight, but that is I'm passionate about making this a more business-friendly community so that we can bring more business here and help our current businesses to expand so that we can increase that tax base to do all the things that we need to do. And yes, our infrastructure is falling apart. Much of it was built in the 50s and 60s, and we have roads that are pockmarked and so forth. They really need to be taken care of. So that's, I want to work on pro-economic development, increasing tourism. I think it's wonderful that we're such a destination, and we want to encourage our visitors to keep coming. So I think that the hotels that are going in are fantastic. We need to do more of that. I also want to make, as I said, infrastructure an extreme priority. We really need to focus on that, and we will. I think being fiscally responsible is really important. It's something that we've talked a lot about tonight, that we need to retire some of that debt. We need to take control of that, and I would like to be a part of that. I also, again, think making sure that we're not violating the individual liberties of people in the city, that we're letting people live their lives the way they want to live their lives. I want to make sure that we're not banning things and restricting things that we shouldn't be. So that's another area that I want to work on. I also want to see that senior center built. We need to, our seniors, we owe them a lot. They helped make the city what it is today, and I think we need to provide a good place for them. We owe it to them, and I want to see that happen. One of the things I also really want to work on is more transparency in government and just getting the citizens involved. I would reach out to everyone and get your input, really act upon it. We've seen these city council meetings where many, many people are coming down, so much more than in the past. I think that's a wonderful thing. This forum, in fact, I think has been quite instrumental in that, getting people involved, and that's fantastic. So I would like to seek more input and listen to it and act upon it. So I hope to be able to serve you as City Council. Thank you.